Right, good morning, people. I hope you can all hear me and that you're all well and fine on this very cool morning. Um, I'm sorry that we started a little bit late. There was a power cut out on the host's side, okay? But don't worry, we're up and running now. As always, let's say each to each other, good morning. Some of you already done that. So if there's still people that wants to say hello, you can quickly, for the next minute in the chat group, say hello to each other, morning to each other. Sadie, if I'm correct, I think you said it yesterday also, and I like it when you say hello, EMS people. Right, as I said, a very warm welcome and a morning to each other. We're going to continue with the lesson now. So please stop chatting on the group. Only if you have some questions. As I said, we're going to continue with the lesson. Right. The past 2 days, we have concentrated on the CRJ. That was the cash receipts journal. That was your first book of entry or your first journal in the accounting that you need to complete. What does that mean is there were some transactions and you need to take those transactions and complete the CRJ. What type of transactions was that? That was when you, as the business, received money. So money was coming into your business and you completed then the CRJ. Now today we are moving to the next journal, and that is going to be the CPJ, the Cash Payments Journal. CPJ, Cash Payments Journal. Now, what is the function of this journal, or what is this journal all about? In this case, it's about cash or money paid. Okay, cash or money paid, therefore the CPJ, the Cash Payments Journal. And in this case, you're only going to work with one source document, and that is going to be your check counter form. Now, I've put there at the bottom an example. You don't have to worry what is standing on it. The idea is that you can just see this is a check with a check counter form. Okay. Um, Now, what I want to indicate to you is that the big part that you see there on the right-hand side, that is basically the check, okay? And on the check, there's information like the name to who the check must go to, the date, the amount in words and in figures, and the signature of the person who wrote out the check. And then there on the left-hand side, you see a very smaller part. Okay, and that smaller part have the same details as the bigger part. So the same date, the same name of the person, the same amount, etc., is going to be on that smaller part. And the smaller part is what we call the check counter foil. So for now, we're going to start doing the CPJ. It's the next journal, the Cash Payments Journal. What is this journal all about? It's about cash or money paid. And for example, let's say we're going to pay the water and electricity bill at the municipality, and then you're going to write out a check for that. So it's that type of transaction that you're going to write into this journal, and your source document every time that you're going to use is a check counter form. Right, now you will see the format of the CPJ, the Cash Payments Journal. Again, there's quite a few columns. Okay, this journal is quite big, and you're going to start with the first column, that is the document number column. So again, it will be your source document and its number. Now, I'm already going to tell you now, every time it's going to be a check counter foil, and we're going to use the abbreviation CC for that. CC, check counter foil. Then the day on which the transaction happened, like on the 3rd, we've details, again, we're going to look for a name. In this case, it will be a name of a business. Then you're going to have a few columns there. That will be all your amount columns. You're going to have bank. Bank will always be the first column, and the rest of the columns can change according to activity you're going to do. Right. So let's say it's, for instance, you paid for stationery that you've purchased. Then you're going to put the amount, let's say 2,000 Rand in bank, and you're going to put 2,000 Rand in with stationery. So what I'm trying to tell you is every time, with every transaction, the amount will be in bank and for what it is. So it's going to be bank and stationery, or bank and trading stock, or bank and, let's say, telephone. And then you will see there's not a telephone column at the top, so then it will go to your sundry accounts. Okay, but that is just overall. We're going to look at examples now. So just for the format of the CPJs, how the columns and the headings is going to look like. Quickly again, you have your document number, day, details, bank, and then the rest of the columns will be different from activity to activity. But like in this case, we have trading stock, stationery, and then you will definitely end off with your sundry accounts. Right. Now you will see there, I said they complete the cash payments journal, the CPJ. So we're going to start looking at examples. And then I've given you there a few transactions for May 2020. And there are 4 transactions there. It's on the 1st, the 5th, the 8th, and the 10th. Okay, and at the bottom, you will see there, I've done it already. So let's take the first transaction on the 1st. Let's read it first. So don't look how it's going to be entered here. Let's just first read it and see what information in the transaction they are going to give to you. So on the 1st, pay the municipality, okay, 500 Rand for the water and electricity bill. Issue check number 1. So what do we have? We've got the date, the 1st. We've got a name of a business, the municipality. You can see it in as the name of the business. We've got the amount, 500 Rand. We know it's for water and electricity. And they give us the first number of the source document, check number 1. Right, so how are you going to enter it into the CPJ there at the bottom? First of all, your first column is the document number column. And remember, I said every time the source document will be a check counter foil, and we're going to use the abbreviation CC for that. So it's going to be CC1 on the 1st, your details, the name of the business, in this case, the municipality. The amount is 500 Rand. 500 Rand in bank because you pay it out of the bank account. And it's for water and electricity. There's not a column for that. So then it goes to sundry accounts, 500 Rand, and you say for what is it? It is for water and electricity. So before we go on, you can see the amounts will be every time in bank and for what it's going to be. Right, next transaction on the 5th. Purchase a new vehicle from Bason Motors for 50,000 and pay by check. So let's look at the information we have in the transaction. So we've got the date, the 5th. We got a name of a business, Bason Motors. We've got the amount, 50,000. And we know it's for a vehicle. Right. They tell us it's a check, but they didn't mention the check number. But still, I think you know it by now. You need to continue with the next number in your CPJ. So if we look at the entry, you will see it will be now CC2, check counter for number 2, because you just continue with the next number. It's on the 5th with details, the name of the business, Bason Motors. The amount is 50,000 Rand. 50,000 Rand will go to bank because you pay it out of the bank account, and it's for vehicles. There's not a column at the top for that. Then you take it to sundry accounts, the amount 50,000, and you say for what is it? It is for vehicles. The next transaction is on the 8th. And please look carefully at this one because there is a little bit of a catch here. All right. So on the 8th, it is saying, pay the wages, 2,000 Rand. So what info do we have? We only have the date. We know it's for wages and we know the amount is 2,000 Rand. And of course, you pay it by check. So if we look at the entry, then it will be your next CC3 number, so your next check counterfoil number. It is on the 8th, and then there's the catch. Look again at the transaction. Do you see a name of a business in that transaction? No. If there's not a name in the transaction and you do the CPJ, then you need to write the word cash with details. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again. If there's not a name of a business in the transaction and you're busy doing the CPJ, then you need to write the word cash. I'm quickly going to take you back when we have done the CRJ. When it was the CRJ, the Cash Receipts Journal, you will remember either it was a name of a person, or if there was not a name of a person, then you have written the words services rendered. But now you must keep in mind, now we are busy with the CPJ, the Cash Payments Journal. So every time you're looking out for a name of a business, and if there's not a name of a business, then you're going to write the word cash. Right, back to the 8th. So the amount is 2,000 Rand. 2,000 Rand will be in bank, and then it was for wages. There is a wages column, so then you just write the 2,000 Rand in that particular column. Right, then we move to the next transaction. That is going to be on the 10th. They say then, purchase stationery from Walton's, 550 Rand by check. So again, let's look at the information that we have in the transaction. We've got the date, the 10th. We know it's for stationery. We've got the name of the business, that is Walton's. And we've got the amount 550, and we know it's going to be the next check counterfoil. So if we look at the entry there at the bottom, then we will see, right, it's now CC4, check counterfoil number 4. It's on the 10th. We've got the name of the business, that is going to be Walton's. The amount is 550 Rand. 550 Rand will go into bank. And for what was it? It was for stationery. There's not a stationery column at the top. Therefore, you take it to sundry accounts. You write the amount 550 and you say for what is it? It is for stationery. So before we're going to continue with more examples, let's just look at this slideshow and quickly repeat a few things. Right. So what is important? With the document number column, every time your source document will be a check counterfoil. So every time it will be CC and whatever the number is going to be. Normally, they will give you the first number, and remember, you automatically need to continue with the next number. Right, the day on which the transaction happened, that's quite fine and easy. Details is you look out for a name of a business. If there's not a name of a business in the transaction, then you write the word cash. Then your amounts, right, the amount will be every time in bank because you pay it out of the business bank account, and then you're going to specify for what it is every time. For instance, on the 1st, it was bank and water and electricity. On the 5th, it was for bank and vehicles. For instance, on the 10th, it was for bank and stationery. Right, so every time the amount will be in bank and for what the transaction was all about. Right, if there is a column like wages, for instance, in this case, then you write the amount in that particular column. If there is not a column for that, like the rest, like the stationery, the water, electricity, and etc., then you take it to sundry accounts. Right, let's look at some more examples. They say they complete the CPJ Then I give you a few transactions there on the 2nd, the 5th, the 10th, and the 12th. Right? And then you will see I didn't complete the CPJ there. It is on the next slideshow because I want to jump here a little bit between the two slideshows because I want you to concentrate first on the transaction and again what information is in the transaction before we go into write it into the CPJ. Right. So on the 2nd, it is saying there, pay the municipality 2,000 Rand by check 001. Okay, so the information is the date, the 2nd. We've got the name of the business, the municipality. The amount is 2,000 Rand, and they give us the first CC, check counterfoil number 001. So let's go and see how it was entered in the CPJ. So there you have it. It's CC001, check counterfoil. On the 2nd, details is municipality, that's the name of the business. 500 Rand is the amount. 500 Rand always goes to bank, and for what it is, okay, it was for water and electricity. There's not a column for that in the top, so then you take it to sundry accounts. The next transaction on the 5th. Issue a check to pay Telkom for the telephone account 1,200. So we've got the date, the 5th. We know you're going to move on to the next CC, check counterfoil number. We've got the name of the business, Telkom. We know it is for the telephone account and the amount is 1,200. So check again the transaction because we're going to see how you're going to write it in now. So there you go. On the 5th, next CC number, the name of the business with details is Telkom. The amount 1,200 Rand in bank. For what is it? It is for telephone. There's not a telephone column there at the top. So then you take it to sundry accounts and you write the amount 1,200 and you say it is for telephone. Then on the 10th, they say pay wages 5,000 Rand. So again, look at the information that we have. We've got the date. We know it's for wages and the amount is 5,000 Rand. Okay, but you can see there's no name of a business there. So remember now, if there's no name of a business, then you need to write the word cash. Can that person just mute yourself that I'm hearing a little bit there at the background? Okay, so look again down the 10th, pay wages 5,000. Let's see how we're going to enter it. Right, there on the 10th, there's your next check counterfoil number. There was no name of a business, so remember you're going to write the word cash with details. The amount is 5,000 Rand. 5,000 Rand will go to bank. 5,000 Rand will go to wages. It was a wages transaction. There is a column for wages, so then you can just write the amount in there. Right, on the 12th, the owner withdrawn 2,000 Rand from the business. So we've got the date. We don't really have a name here, but they talk about the owner. And he withdrawn 2,000 Rand from the business. Now, right, let's just stand quickly still on this one. This one is always the one that they will try to catch you guys out. So it will always be there. I don't know if you know this. You were supposed to have done it actually at the beginning of the year when you have done the accounting concepts. So what do we call it when an owner takes things for himself, for his own personal use? And I want you to hear these words, for his own personal use. That we call drawings. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the transaction again. All right, on the 12th, it says the owner withdrawn 2,000 Rand from the business. If somebody withdrawn something for his own use, from the business. Remember this concept, we call it drawings. I don't know who it is, but there is somebody at the background. Please, I can hear everything and it's quite disturbing. So can you just please mute? Okay, so the owner withdrawn 2,000 Rand from the business. So when the owner withdraws something for his own personal use, then we call it drawings. Right, but how are we going to enter it into the CPJ? There you've got it. On the 12th, it's the next CC numbers, check counter 4004. The only details that we have there is the owner, because it's the owner that is taking the money. They didn't mention to us the name of the owner, so you can just write the owner with details. The amount is 2,000 Rand, still going off from the bank account. And then, as I said, when the owner withdrawn or take things for his own personal use, we call it drawings. Drawings is the correct name of the account. And there's not a drawings column there at the top, so therefore you will take it to sundry accounts. Right. Then the final step, after you have entered now all these transactions in the CPJ, what do you need to do? You need to add up all the amount columns. So you need to take bank, you need to add up that whole, all those amounts to get that total at the bottom of 8,700. You need to do the same with wages, right? There was only one amount, so it's the total of 5,000. And then you do exactly the same with the sundry accounts. You need to add up those total, and then you get the total at the bottom of 3,700 Rand. Right. So again, let's do some revision work. Okay. I just quickly want to go back a little bit for the slideshow, so just hang on. Okay. So there you guys will see that we are starting to do today the CPJ, the Cash Payments Journal. What is this journal all about? It's about cash or money that was paid. Your source document every time will be a check counter full, and we use the abbreviation CC for that. And then we have looked at the format of the CPJ, and you will see there it was your document number column, day, details, bank, and then the rest of the columns will be different from activity to activity, but you will end off with the sundry accounts. And then we have started to look at transactions, examples, how you're going to complete the CPJ. Right, just again, if we look at the completed one there on your screen, then you will see with the document number column, it is every time CC and the number, check counter for the number. Again, normally the first transaction will give you the number. You automatically need to continue with the next transactions with the next CC number. Day is the day on which the transaction happened. Details is the name of the business that you get from the transaction. If there's not a name of the business, like on the 8th, then you're going to write the word cash. Then the amount will go every time, it will go to bank and it will go to sundry accounts. Okay, so a bank and whatever it's going to be, excuse me. So I'm looking now, for instance, at the first where it was water and electricity. So it was in bank, and then it goes to water and electricity. That is with sundry accounts because there's not a column at the top for that. But if there's a column for that, like with wages on the 8th, then you take it to bank and then you write that amount in that specific column. And then just on this example to show you, remember when you have entered all your transactions in the CPJ, then you need to add up all these columns. So you need to add up bank to get a total, you need to add up wages to get a total, and you need to add up sundry accounts to get the total at the bottom. Okay. Basically, it's it for today. I know it's quite a little bit shorter than normally, but remember what I said in the beginning. it's not going to help if we're just going to run through everything and then you have no clue or idea what is going on. It's going to start to get more difficult now, all right? So that is why I'm taking it slowly and rather step by step and make sure that you understand what is going on. Okay, so because let me just give you an idea what we are working towards to. You have done the CRJ and we have done examples and you even tried an example yesterday on your own, right? Now today we're starting with the CPJ. Now what is going to happen? Now we practice a little bit the CPJ, okay? And then after that, we're going to do combined activities. What does that mean? That means that the transactions I'm going to give to you is going to be mixed. And you need to understand and read those transactions and see, oh, okay, this one must go to the CRJ, and then you need to do that entry in the CRJ. And when you read, for instance, the next transaction, then you need to understand, okay, this one must go to the CPJ, and then you need to go and enter it into the CPJ. So it is important while we do it separately that you understand it quite well. So when we're going to get to the combined activities, then it will be more easier for you to understand which journal you need to use. All right. So basically, guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining the class. I must tell you, I'm trying to get to my chat group, but I don't know, it does not want to open. I don't know what the problem there is. So I can't see if there's any questions, but I will try to sort that out. Okay, people. So if you have questions and I can't see it, don't stress. Please make a note of it. Write the question on a piece of paper. And then I see you guys on Monday again. And then you're more than welcome to ask those questions and then we can look at it. Because on Monday, we're definitely going to start to revise the CPJ. And then I can tell you then we're going to start doing the combined activities. Okay. So if I can't see the questions now, don't worry. We will get back to that. All right. Okay, people, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Rest, and then I will see you on Monday again. Thank you very much. Goodbye.